Good morning, class.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, ma'am.
Hello.
Morning, ma'am.
Good morning. So, do you get any problem there while doing exercise? सो अब हजुरहरूले नो मात्र भयो होमवर्क चाहिँ आएन नि त होमवर्क आउनु पर्दैन के होमवर्क चाहिँ गर्नै पर्दैन So the black table is still there, eh? That we finished. हामीले case against air conditioning, black table is still there. बुझिसक्यो अनि why vampire never die यो हजुरहरूले पढ्नु पर्दैन है This is for so any problem with a black table is still there? के छ त भन्नुस् त any problem? Hello.
No, ma'am.
No. So today then we are going for comparison and contrast. What means comparison? Hello class, what means comparison? Can you say me what means comparison? We have read it in grammar too, if you remember. What is comparison? Are you listening me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. What is comparison then? What means comparison? Where we do comparison? 201 मेरो यहाँ मोबाइल ह्याङ भएले म तपाईहरुको आवाज मात्र सुनिरहेछु बेला बेलामा बोल्नुस् ल
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, हजुरको साउन्ड नै आएन. Ma'am.
Are you listening me?
Ma'am, sound नै आएको थिएन अघिदेखि.
अहिले चाहिँ आइरहेछ?
अहिले आइरहेछ.
भन्नुस् त. Give me an example of adjectives. Adjective को example भन्नुस् त. Hello, please give an example of adjective.
सेन्टेन्स नै भन्नु हो म्याम.
Word भन्दा पनि हुन्छ. Sentence is very good. Look at. And look happy मा adjective चाहिँ के हो त? Look happy both is adjective or particular? Yes, happy is a adjective. Means now what I am going to talk with you is comparison always takes between two dissimilar things. है दुईटा dissimilar things हरुमा मात्रै comparison हुने हो. And we compare those dissimilar things by creating certain type of environment around, and we compare over there. Jasto ma yaha tapaihरुलाई I have whatever here, I will show you. Okay, this is a bottle and this is book. Can we compare here? Can you? Ajur. Can you compare here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. How do you compare, please? Please, let's have a compare between this book and bottle.
The bottle is made out of plastic and the book is made out of paper.
Why to compare भयो त? Bio. Yes. So very importantly, we compare between similar things. हामी पहिला चाहिँ धेरै सिमिलर थिंग्समा कुरा गर्छौं. सिमिलर थिंग्समा कम्पेरिजन कसरी गर्छौं भने लाइक टल, शॉर्ट हैन, द पेन्सिल इज नॉट एज टल एज as short as हो. यसरी चाहिँ सिमिलर थिंग्समा धेरै कम्पेरिजन गर्छौं भने नाउ वी आर गोइङ टु कम्पेयर इन डिसिमिलर थिंग्स टु. है त्यस्ता डिसिमिलर थिंग्सहरु जसले चाहिँ हामीलाई कम्पेयर गर्ने र गराउने कुराहरुमा के गर्छन् डिफरेन्सेस फाइन्ड आउट गर्नको लागि सजिलो गर्छन्. सो इन essay2 really very comparison in essay2 we compare between these things. हैन एसेमा पनि हामी कम्पेयर गर्छौं. कस्तो कुराको कम्पेयर गर्छौं? right and wrong, good or bad, better, means similar and dissimilar things both will have comparison. र यसैमा हामी ल्याङ्ग्वेजमा पनि we will compare in the same way. Now contrast. Contrast means, class, what is contrast? What is contrast?
Contrast.
Yes, contrast. Please. Contrast means similar things. है सिमिलर कुरा भनेकै कन्ट्रास्ट हो. दुईटालाई कन्ट्रास्ट गरेर एउटै लेख्न सक्ने इन्भाइरोमेन्ट हुनु, एउटै लेख्न सक्ने ब्याकग्राउन्ड बन्नु भनेकै दैट इज कन्ट्रास्ट.
म्याम हजुरको साउन्ड अड्किरा छ.
Now class, are you listening?
Yes, ma'am.
So when we can make two different things, we can make two different things one. That is what contrast is. दुईटा फरक कुराहरुलाई एउटै बनाउन जहाँ सक्छौं त्यो चाहिँ हाम्रो कन्ट्रास्ट हो. So essays are we will use the essays to as comparison and contrast. Compare गर्ने र त्यसलाई फेरि एउटैमा लिएर आएर जोड्ने यस्तो खालको एसेहरू
मिस साउन्ड अड्किन चाहिँ के बुझे छैन
सो जसरी हामी दुईटा कुरालाई कम्पेयर गरेर एउटैमा जोड्न सक्ने हुन्छौं तब कम्पेयर नाउ क्लास आर यु लिसनिङ मी नाउ
यस म्याम
जब दुईटा कम्पेयर गर्ने र त्यसलाई कन्ट्रास्ट गर्ने एउटै कुरामा हामी जोडेर भन्न सक्ने हुन्छौं देन इट इज कम्पेरिजन एन्ड कन्ट्रास्ट सो लेट्स सी व्हाट इज द comparison and contrast essay how can we write these comparison and contrast essays कसरी लेख्न सकिन्छ त in the narrowest sense हैन narrow sense मा भन्नु पर्दा comparison shows how two or more things are similar दुईटा र दुईटा भन्दा बढी कुराहरू उस्तै कसरी हुन सके when we will make it similar and contrast shows how they are different कसरी फरक छन् कम्प्यारिजनले कम्पेयर गरेर उस्तै हो भनेर देखाउँछ फरक कुरालाई कन्ट्रास्टले फरक कुरालाई एउटै हो भनेर देखाउँछ so how in most writing situations however the two related processes of comparison and contrast are used together. So, while writing comparison and contrast essays, the two related processes will be compared in a phrase and they will make together. When they will express together, then it becomes comparison and contrast. In the following paragraph, from disturbing the universe, scientist Freeman Dyson compares and contrasts two different styles of human endeavor, which he calls the gray and the green. Okay, gray and green essays. My euta chahi tapaihरुलाई I will compare and other essays you need to read yourself. Okay. So here is an essay. Let's listen it first, then we will compare here as it is shown. In everything we undertake, either on earth or in the sky. In everything we undertake, either on earth or in the sky, we have a choice of two styles, which I call the gray and the green.
पेज नम्बर कति भन्छ नि
201.
यसै
We call gray and the green. If you have this big book, okay, it is 201. The distinction between the gray and green is not sharp. Yes, when we distinguish between gray and green, it is not sharp. Only at the extremes of the spectrum can we say without qualification, this is green and that is gray. Yes, we will explain there, this is green and that is gray without qualifications. The difference between green and gray is better explained by example than by definition. Yes, more than definition, we need to explain it through example. Factories are gray, gardens are green. It is comparison, see. Factories are gray, gardens are green. Physics is gray, biology is green. It is just compared over here. Plutonium is gray, horse manure is green. It is also compared. Bureaucracy is gray, pioneer communities are green. Self-reproducing machines are gray. Trees and children are green. माथिदेखि हेर्नुस् है. Gray and green is compared there, each and everything. Clowns are gray, clads are green. Army field manuals are gray, poems are green. Now we can divide gray and green over here. What is gray and what is green? Okay, what is gray and what is green can be compared over here. And this gray and green comparison will be participated now. You can separate now. Understand? Only the extremes of spectrum can say without qualification. This is gray and the green. अब के green छ त्यहाँ हेर्नुस् त. What are greens? Gardens are greens. Biology is green. Garden, biology. Then pioneer communities. Class, let's speak now. Children's. God's technology.
Horse.
Yes. So these are green. हो अघि चाहिँ कम्पेरिजन भएको थियो. अब यो दिज आर ग्रीन भनेर हामी जानेर राख्छौँ सबैलाई. द्याट इज कन्ट्रास्ट. त्यो कम्पेरिजनलाई नै हामीले कन्ट्रास्ट बनायौँ. एउटैलाई एक्सप्लेन गर्यौँ. सो हियर आर ग्रेज टु. दिज आर ग्रे भनेर नै एक्सप्लेन गर्न सकिन्छ. A special form of comparison. A special form of comparison is called analogy. Please underline it. Comparison गर्दा हामीले use गर्ने a very special form, that is analogy. A special form of comparison called analogy that explains one thing by comparing is to a second. एउटालाई अर्कोसँग. One thing when it is compared with the next thing, then it becomes an analogy. More familiar things in the following paragraph from the Shopping Mall High School. Author G. Powell, Eleanor Farrer, and David Cohen use analogy to shed light on the nature of contemporary American high schools. At first, you need to remember what is analogy. A special form of comparison is called analogy. Oh, यसलाई बुझ्नुस्. And see the paragraph. Let's turn to this. In Americans, if Americans want to understand their high school at work, they should imagine them a shopping malls. It's a comparison over there. See there? A way of comparison. A special form of comparison is called analogy. भन्यौँ हामीले. So,
Yes.
secondary education is another consumption experience in an abundant society. Secondary education in an abundant society. This is also analogy over here. Shopping malls attract a broad range of customers with a different taste and purposes. Some shop at Target, others at Bloomingdale's. In high school, a broad range of students also shop. They too can select from an astonishing variety of products and services conveniently assembled in one place with ample parking. Furthermore, in malls and schools, many different kinds of transactions are possible, with instructions bring hopeful purveyors and potential purchasers together. The former hope to maximize sales but can take nothing for granted. Shoppers have a wide discretion not only about what to buy but also about where to buy. Now, this is what comparison is. The comparison is done between the place. Yes, shopping malls is explained here and compared it in different way. यसलाई नै धेरै कुराहरुमा compare गरियो and this comparison is known as analogy. यसलाई नै हामी के भन्छौं? This type of comparison, when one thing is compared in different way, which is known as analogy. Now, here is using comparison and contrast. This is a paragraph. Please read it yourself. You will find out what is comparison here, compared here, and contrast here. के कुरा विचार गर्नुस्. Comparison can be done in between similar and dissimilar both things. दुवैमा गर्न सकिन्छ comparison. तर हुन्छ के While comparing between dissimilar and dissimilar things, we will make it a different way of contrasting, and this contrast will help us for comparing those similar and dissimilar things in a perfect way, which will be a particular part of comparison, that is analogy. So let's see how to plan a comparison and contrast essay. Such type of comparison and contrast essay, how we will write and how can we plan for this? Because comparison and contrast is central to our understanding of the world. When we will go through the essay, when we will go to write the essay, comparison and contrast, it is the central point, means which we need to understand in this essay, that to our understanding of the world. This way of thinking is often called in papers and on essay exams. Compare and contrast the attitude towards science and technology expressed in Fritz Lang's Metropolis and George Louis State War. That is a film which is shown over here. Right? So you can see here, compare and contrast. Compare and contrast. This is what understanding the world and thinking often called in papers and essay too. So here are examples. What type of essay can be comparison and contrast essay? Next example हेर्नुस् discuss the relative merits of establishing a partnership or setting up a corporation. Business law को आधारमा relative merits of establishing a partner हो relative merits फाइदाहरू के छन् भनेर हामीले कम्पेयर गर्नु पर्यो. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of bilingual education. Do you know what bilingual mean? Hello? Do you know what means bilingual? बहुभाषा, दुईटा भाषा है. Multilingual भन्यो भने बहुभाषा, bilingual means two language. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of bilingual education. दुईटा भाषामा पढाउनुका फाइदा र बेफाइदाहरू. Whenever we go through it, then it becomes comparison and contrast. त्यसो भए, while preparing for the comparison and contrast essay, we always need to have two different things. दुईटा त हुनै पर्यो. Either we compare or contrast. We always need to have two different things. Recognizing comparison and contrast assignment. How we will recognize comparison and contrast assignments.
म्याम आवाजै आएको छैन.
हो नरेन्द्र के छ भाइ के छ मेरो भाइ खाना खाइस के गर्दैछ के रे भविन राई के भने
खिर खाएर आएको भयो
के छ नरेन्द्र मोदी
भर खिर खाएर आएको
के रे
खिर खाएर आएको
ओ ओ यसलाई लागेको साउन्ड 15 मलाई त थाहा थिएन सरले भनेर थाहा भयो अघि ओहो एक्लै खिर खाइदिने आमामा
झ्याउ हान्दिउँ तर त्यसलाई भनेर मलाई छिटो पठाऊ
के
प्राइस र पब्लिकेसन
के बुक किन्न जानला त
अहिले होइन अब शनिबारतिर नत्र होइन आइतबारतिर नत्र शनिबारतिर
ऊ भविनलाई थाहा छ कुन पब्लिक मसँग बुक त छ यार छन त
भन्नु
बुक कहाँ छ त थाहा छैन मलाई दुईटा त तै छ होला त